hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some freaking money. It's time for Pocket with Joe. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. I should say good afternoon now. We're starting Pocket with Joe a little bit later, and that's why you need to turn on those notifications because sometimes I get caught up in meetings and I can't do anything about it. But we are live now. We got 11 games to go over. Lots of different ways that we can attack today's slate. So super excited to get into it. Looks like people are making some good freaking money out there. Good morning to you. Love that you are able to get the Blue Jackets money line first period over 1.5, both teams to score 2 goals, and the Islanders first period that was voided plus 322, $55 for 166. Nicely done. Kev, good morning to you as well. And Mo, of course, we will build all of that at the end. So you guys stick around if you're looking for those. So let's jump into today's slate, you guys. Like I said, loaded slate out there on the ice. The first game we're kicking off here is the Nashville Predators versus the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, the Nashville Predators haven't been that offensive juggernaut that some people would hope if they're liking higher scoring games, but they're coming in at a plus 125 underdog price here on the road versus the Flyers. And I think it's a nice way to take this game. Looking at the Flyers, a minus 150 favorite. I can't get behind them here. Even though Dan Vladar is getting the start, we're going to look at Dan Vladar's numbers on the season. They are looking nice and solid. But I still remember Dan Vladar playing here in Calgary, going to those games, watching him versus the Predators. Well, he's allowed those goals to come in. 3 goals in the last 2 versus the Preds. So we're going to look at a team total here for the Predators, as I do think they're a barking dog here on the road. We have a total of 5.5 in this one with the juice to the over 5.5. At minus 124. So Dan Vladar on the season has an 1.81 goals against average and a 932 save percentage. Really solid numbers, right? He is 3-0-1 in 4 games with a goals against average of 293 versus the Preds. So really solid numbers there and a save percentage of 882. So great numbers versus the Predators, but the last 2 games versus them, he did allow 3 goals. And in one of those, it was like on 20 shots, you guys. I just can't trust him here. And what I really can't trust about the Flyers, even though defensive-minded team is, I just think they're going to have struggles shutting down this Predators team. Saros in goal here for the Predators. Now, Saros has a 2.84 goals against average, a 905 save percentage. And I look at their kill. Their kill is elite. 90% of their opponent's power plays are able to kill off. And we already don't have opponent power play here with the Flyers at 17.2%. And now it's not like the Nashville Predators roll in here with a better power play. It is worse. It's 11.8. The kill is sitting here at 88.6% for the Flyers. I just think we're going to see the Predators find a way. So when we look at the Philadelphia Flyers on the season, 5-1 at home, but you look at those wins at home, 3 of their 5 home wins have gone past regulation. So 2 of those have come in a shootout. So this is a team that I'm looking for a little bit of regression out of. Now, I did flirt with the opportunity of taking the first period under 1.5 goals at minus 104, but with Dan Vladar's record versus the Preds, I just can't get there. We're seeing a Predators team off back-to-back losses. Yes, they lost to Tampa and they lost to Dallas, but I think they can get things back on track. I would look at the Preds team total over 2.5 goals. It's coming in at minus 128 to hit those 3 goals in this. Now, the Flyers have won their last 7 games as a favorite, so they are sitting in that favorite role. But I look at playmakers like Jonathan Marchessault out here for the Predators. He's been strong versus the Flyers in his career as well. I think he helps his team find a way. He's got at least 1 goal in 3 of the last 5 appearances versus the Flyers. So I'll take Jonathan Marchessault for a goal here for the Predators, and I'll take the Preds team total over 2.5. Over 2.5. You guys, I'm going to bookmark this show, so bear with me while I grab a piece of paper here. Richie P, thanks for smashing that like button over on YouTube. Seeing your guys' comments come up there. Appreciate the love, you guys. Good morning, Revolution of the Classics. Let's make some freaking bread. That is for sure. Make some lunch money. Yeah, let's get the Predators here at lunchtime. So we're going to try bookmarking the show, seeing if that does help with the numbers out there. So let's move on to the next game, you guys. The next game on deck is the Dallas Stars taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, the Dallas Stars coming in at plus 125 on the money line. This game confuses me. Why is Dallas a dog here? Tampa, I can't trust. Minus 125 here for the Tampa Bay Lightning, total of 5.5. It's minus 132 to the over 5.5. And I do think this game has every possibility of going over that number. But what I like better is just taking the freaking Stars here on the money line. I don't understand why Tampa is a favorite. Both of these teams have won their last 3. And yes, it looks like Tampa's finally starting to get things back on track. But I do think Jake Ottinger in the month of October, he's not a goaltender you want to bet against. He's got a 2.61 goals against average and a 909 save percentage on the season, going 3-3-2. And then when we look at him versus Tampa, he has been strong with those numbers as well. He's got a 2.86 goals against average in 9 games. I'm looking for him to live up to his record that we have seen in the month of October, a 933 save percentage. Andrei Vasilevskiy has faced Dallas twice last season. In those games, he had an 885 save percentage. Overall, in the last 22 games versus the Stars, though, because we know Vasilevskiy's been in this league a whole long time. He's got a 2.01 goals against average. I would rather look at those last 2 games with that 885 save percentage and say this is a great spot to fade Andrei Vasilevskiy. He's got a 2.86 goals against average on the season at 893 save percentage. And I do think he's going to let those goals come in. I'm going to look here at the Dallas Stars to be able to get those goals. We know Mikko Rantanen, Wyatt Johnston, Jason Robinson. There's so many playmakers here for the Stars that have the ability to light that lamp. Both defenses have held on strong this season. I do like what we've seen out of that defensive play. Too many penalty minutes here for the Tampa Bay Lightning, though. They're averaging 11.9 penalty minutes per game. And you look at the power play here for the Dallas Stars, it is 3rd best in the league, converting 31.4% of the time. And their faceoff is so strong. Controlling the faceoff controls the game of play here, you guys. They're winning 51.4% of their faceoffs. While we look here at the Tampa Bay Lightning, they are weak on that faceoff, only winning 44.8. So it is the Dallas Stars for me in this one. And yeah, I do think you can do reverse puck line on this and really come off a strong game here, getting great plus money. Dallas embarrassed after the Capitals. Yeah, the Capitals, they're off that loss to the Capitals 1-0 on Tuesday. 2 games out here on the road. Panthers on deck on Saturday. The Panthers haven't looked like the team that we saw hoist the cup. So it's not like they're going to be in this really big look ahead situation to the Panthers. And now we are seeing here the Tampa Bay Lightning off a win versus the Predators 5-2. Fake numbers there, you guys. I really do think this is a one-off home game as well. I don't love those scheduling spots. One-off home games are hard. They're at Utah on Sunday, at the Avs on Tuesday, and at Vegas on Thursday. So Tampa would like this win, but I can't do it. Yes, let's reverse that freaking puck line. The Dallas Stars reverse puck line getting you great plus money. Going back to that anytime goal, you got to run them back. You absolutely have to. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I know. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of trends here. Even though I don't think Tampa wins, you got to look at Anthony Cirelli if you are building a player point or a goal prop. He has scored at least 1 goal in 4 of the Lightning's last 5 versus the Stars. So Cirelli is your playmaker that you want to look at for Tampa. We know Nikita Kucherov is strong. But we've seen the Tampa Bay Lightning not being able to cover that puck line at home in their last 8 either. I do think this is a 4-3 style win here for the Dallas Stars. So I would look at this one to go over that total. I'd still look for goals to come in. 4-3 maybe because they try to tie things up here for Tampa. But I think it's a competitive game, but one that the Dallas Stars can win. Let's move on, you guys. We have the Calgary Flames right now taking on the Ottawa Senators. So the Calgary Flames coming in off another loss. They're plus 146 here on the money line. What, 2 wins on the season? The Ottawa Senators are minus 176, total of 6.5, plus 110 to the over 6.5, minus 134 to the under. Now we know Calgary is going to try to play a strong defensive game and really keep Ottawa off the board, but we don't even have Dustin Wolf between the pipes. Calgary will start Logan Cooley Cooley here. So Cooley coming out is 0-1 on the season. He does have solid numbers when you break it down, a 925 save percentage and a 2.28 goals against average, but I do think we're going to see the Senators firing at will at him in this game. Calgary tries to lock down on the defensive side. Defensive-minded first club, but they're still allowing 30.4 shots on goal per game. Their kills only 25%, and this team can't convert on the power play. And when we look at the Ottawa Senators, if they are able to get out on that power play, they are going to capitalize. Their power play is converting at 31.7%. They're averaging 29.2 shots on goal per game and 3.64 goals. I'm expecting 35, 36, 37 shots out of the Ottawa Senators in this game on Cooley in between the pipes for Calgary. Both teams are coming off regulation losses, and they're going to be looking to bounce back. I think Ottawa on home ice has every ability to bounce back. 4-2 style win here for the Ottawa Senators. So I'm going to take their team total. Over 3.5 goals for the Ottawa Senators, I think, is where you want to go. This is the deeper team, you guys. The kill is weak on both sides. Not going to deny that. The kill here for the Senators is only 63.6%. But when you've got a power play that's only converting under 12% here for Calgary, I just don't think you see it happen. So give me here the Sens team total over 3.5, 4-2 style win. Now they do have 3 games on the road on deck, Montreal, the Bruins, and the Flyers. I don't think they'll be having a look-ahead situation to that. And then Calgary, this is game 3 of 4 on the road. They're at the Predators on Saturday, at the Flyers on Sunday. Now, the Senators have won 6 of the last 10 meetings. That is your trend. 2 of those have come in overtime. So these teams do play in tight contests out there on the ice. So definitely something to know. And if you're looking for the playmaker for Calgary to really step up for great plus money, Blake Coleman has scored at least 1 goal in 3 of the last 4 versus the Senators. So Coleman really coming out to play. So those are your trends. I'm just going to take the Senators team total to that over. We will look at some player props in these games at the end of the show. Yeah, and I do think Frost can come out nice and strong as well. Morgan Frost needs to play more impactful out here for Calgary. I was expecting a bigger step up out of him. We've got a little bit, but I'm expecting more out of Morgan Frost. So I do like where you're going with Morgan Frost in this matchup. I think it's a solid way to look. We're really going to look at Morgan Frost when they play the Flyers on Sunday, because Morgan Frost was with the Philadelphia Flyers before being traded over here to Calgary. So make sure Morgan Frost is making your slate this weekend as well. You're placing 5 units on the Blackhawks at plus 190. Also 2 units on the Blackhawks puck line plus 1.5 at minus 125. Looks like the Blackhawks are a live dog tonight. Don't really like going against the Jets, but market pulled me away from the Jets. Yeah, the Jets are so pricey on that money line. Hard definitely to go against the Jets, but it's going to be an interesting one. We're going to break that one down in just a couple of minutes here. Kev thinking that game is going to be a 3-2 style one. So it's going to be interesting to see what Winnipeg's able to do. I did a first period bet, so stay tuned for that, the first period, because I'm with you guys. I think Chicago is a live barking dog in that matchup. The Buffalo Sabres versus the Boston Bruins, 7 p.m. Eastern. The puck will drop on this one. The Sabres are a minus 120 favorite. The Bruins coming in at plus 100, total of 6.5 in this matchup. Now, when we look at this one, as I just bookmark, I have to bookmark these games, you guys, for you. We got Alex Leon versus Korpisalo in between the pipes for Boston. That gives me concern with Korpisalo coming out here. He's got a 3.62 goals against average and an 870 save percentage. Now, we did see this matchup earlier this month. The Bruins were able to win 3-1 in that game. And I do think coming off a win on Tuesday, 5-2 at home versus the Isles, this team's going to come in with a lot of confidence. This is a battle of the Atlantic. We have seen the Buffalo Sabres lose their last two games. Tuesday, they lost to the Columbus Blue Jackets 4-3 in OT. So they're coming off a hard game in which they really gave it all. This is a one-off road game, which is not my favorite place to put my money on a team that's got this one-off road game. But I do think the Buffalo Sabres have every ability to get back in the win column. I don't trust Corpusalo, and I don't trust the defense here of the Boston Bruins. They're allowing 3.67 goals per game, 29.3 shots on goal. Their kill is solid at 81.6%. But you are seeing here a Buffalo Sabres team that has the playmakers to be able to score on Corpusalo. Now, the face-off ability here for the Boston Bruins, if they can control the face-off like we've seen so far this season, controlling 54.9% of the face-off, and own that neutral zone, they have every ability to get another win here over the Buffalo Sabres. I just think this is a game where we do see Buffalo be able to get back in that win column. I'm going to look, though, instead of taking a side, I'm going to look at the first period over 1.5 goals at -144. The game to go over the 6.5, and the Sabres to win this in a 4-3 style game. I love the same Sabres team total as well. The Sabres team total is going to get you plus money. And you guys know I freaking love that plus money. Over 3.5 goals here for the Buffalo Sabres coming in at plus 118. Both of these defenses have been too shaky for me to take either team for the straight up win, but I do think it is Buffalo who gets it done. You look at Tage Thompson and his ability out there on the ice, and then Jason Zucker has scored a goal in each of the Sabres' last two games against the Bruins. You got Pasta on the other side, and you also have the Bruins losing their last 9 as a dog versus the Atlantic. So I do think that trend will stay alive. -120 though on the Sabres, not enough to entice me to take them on the money line, but that over 3.5, I do think they get 4 goals. That will get you plus money at plus 118. It's good to see you guys here, Irish King and Vinny. Thanks for joining us today. Bruins all the way. You can't take the Sabres seriously. Can we take the Bruins seriously though? Yeah, maybe we can. So I wish you the best in that game. Game is going to be a weird one, not gonna lie. I don't love this game, but I do think those goals are coming in. Corpusalo is where my lack of faith really comes. Okay, so we are going to move on to the Islanders. The New York Islanders taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. One of the biggest dogs on the slate today. They're plus 180, and this line has moved. They were almost a $2 underdog. So we're starting to see the love come in for the Islanders. Plus 1.5 on the puck line is -140. The Carolina Hurricanes are -220 on that money line, -1.5 on the puck line at plus 114. Total sitting at 6.5. Looking at this matchup, David Rittich is in between the pipes here for the New York Islanders. He has a goals against average of 2 and a .940 save percentage. Brandon Abbasi coming in here for Carolina. A 911 save percentage, a 2.33 goals against average. Both of these teams are off 2 losses. This is a battle of the Metro. And it's the first night of a back-to-back for the Isles here as they have another battle of the Metro on deck tomorrow. Not fair, right? They've got the Washington Capitals on deck tomorrow. When we look at the Canes schedule, they will have tomorrow off. They will be at Boston on Saturday and then at the Rangers on Tuesday. So definitely a harder look ahead spot here for the New York Islanders with another Metro opponent on deck. Now, when we look at their overall numbers on the season, these teams stepping up offensively. We're seeing both of these teams averaging over 3.5 goals per game. We're also seeing both of them firing that puck away on net. Both averaging over 30 shots on goal, 30.4 shots for the Isles and 33 shots for the Canes. Now, one thing that's been disappointing for the Carolina Hurricanes is that power play conversion. It's only converting 10% of the time. Their kill is elite, 82.9%. And when we look at the Isles, they are only converting 15.6% on the power play. Their kill is weaker at 71%. So I do think if Carolina gets up on that power play, they have every opportunity to sink it in the back of David Rittich's net in this game. Now, when we look at the Bruins, when we look at the Islanders, they lost to the Bruins on Tuesday. That was a 5-2 loss. And then the Canes lost to Vegas at home. So those are where these teams are coming in from. In a battle of a metro here, I know that we look at these defensive numbers and they're not good, both allowing over 3 goals per game. The Isles at 3.56, the Canes at 3.11, but I think the lockdown comes defensively in this. I know David Rittich and Brandon Bussey can give up those goals, but I think the defense has to start stepping up in front of these teams. These are defense-minded teams, and I know Carolina also has the ability to play in those higher scoring games, but I'm going to look for a lockdown in the defensive side of things. The under 6.5, the books are telling you that's where they're laying the juice at -120. And I do think we have the defense coming out strong with both of these teams off losses. If both of these teams were kind of like sitting in here coming off wins, I think that offensive production would be where we would look for this to be that higher scoring game and the defenses to still struggle. But I do think the defenses are going to be raked over the coals by their coaching staff. We're going to see those battles in the neutral zone. We're going to see a lot of adjustments, and I don't think we see those rushes out there. So I'll take the under 6.5 and hold my breath. If this one flies over that total, I'm going to be shaking my head. And I know that first period is probably scary for that total. But when we look at the Carolina Hurricanes, they have won their last 20 at home versus the Metro. They've also covered the puck line in their last 5 home games versus the Isle. So if you want to look here at the Carolina Hurricanes, I do think they're the better team. Because I like this under 6.5, could we see a 4-2 win? Yeah, we absolutely could. It still puts us under the 6.5, and it still covers the puck line for the Canes, but I'll just stay on the under 6.5 in this. I don't blame you if you take the Carolina Hurricanes in reg. I think the reg bet is better than the puck line. The next game on deck is the Chicago Blackhawks coming in here, taking on the Winnipeg Jets. You guys threw it out there. Lots of love coming in for Chicago. They're plus 184 right now on that money line, -225 here for the Winnipeg Jets. Total sitting at 5.5. The 5.5 is juiced to the over at -130, plus 106 to the under. Your goaltending matchup is Spencer Knight versus Connor Hellebuck. And I already told you guys, I already gave you the spoiler here. I do think that you want to look at getting in and out of this game. I think Chicago is live, and because I think Chicago is live, I'm going to look at the Winnipeg Jets first period puck line, get in, get out, and be done and wash my hands of this game, because I think this game just something looks like Chicago could pull off the upset, but I'm not willing to pounce yet. What I want to do in this is I'm going to take the Winnipeg Jets first period puck line, laying a half a goal, it's plus 160. Once Winnipeg goes up 1-0, because the Chicago Blackhawks are basically a $2 favorite right now, then I can come back in on Chicago plus 2.5. Now, you're going to have to watch this game. You're going to have to watch those numbers, because as soon as Winnipeg puts a goal in, you want to come in on Chicago. Don't miss that number, because if you wait till the end of the first and somehow Chicago ends up tying it up, then you're going to miss that plus 2.5. So this is a live betting game for me all day. I will take the Jets first period puck line. I think that is what we're going to see. The Chicago Blackhawks have lost the last 5 games in Winnipeg, so definitely something to look at. But you look at Chicago this season, they're 9-1 on the puck line on the season, 7-0 on their last 7 road games on that puck line. They've been playing nice and strong. Now, they are coming off a big win versus the Ottawa Senators, 7-3 win in that game. This is game 1 of a 6-game road trip. They're the Oilers on Saturday. They're looking to get off to a hot start. Now, their power play is only converting at 18.2%. They're going to need to step that up, because we got a great kill here at 90.5% here. For the Winnipeg Jets, we got strong face-off ability for the Jets as well, 53.3%. And we've got a great kill for Chicago at 86.4%, but a really strong power play at 27.3% here for the Winnipeg Jets. So for Chicago, they need to stay out of the box. They can't allow the Winnipeg Jets to get on that power play. They're going to have to find a way to really limit Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor out there on the ice, and Nyquist. Nyquist has been strong versus the Chicago Blackhawks. He scored at least 1 goal for the last 5 home games versus Chicago. So Nyquist is your playmaker if you're looking for one for the Winnipeg Jets because of those trends. The Jets have the Pens on deck on Saturday. They're off the win versus the Wild on the road. was a 4-3 win over the Wild in OT. It was a one-off road game, so they're returning home. They just had the one game out there on Tuesday. They've had a day's rest. So I do think they can get it done, but get in, get out. I'm going to take. Yeah, and we're going to do the same thing in the Kings matchup. You know we're doing that. First period, in and out with the Kings as well. So Jets, first period puck line, get me the heck out of that game because Chicago, I think they're live. The Vancouver Canucks versus the St. Louis Blues. Okay, the Vancouver Canucks are plus 132. The St. Louis Blues are minus 160, and we do have a total of 5.5 in this matchup. So breaking this one down, you guys, we did just see these teams play on October 13th. On October 13th, the St. Louis Blues were able to get a 5-2 win. And the Blues ever since have been completely struggling out there. They have, well, not ever since, but they've been struggling. They've lost their last 5. Tuesday, they lost to the Detroit Red Wings 5-2. At Columbus on Saturday is their look ahead. We're seeing Vancouver, though, coming in off a loss to the Rangers. Yeah, it's kind of laughable, right? The Vancouver Canucks losing to the Rangers 2-0 on Tuesday. The Rangers haven't been a team that has been able to keep anyone off the scoreboard. So Langican expected here for Vancouver. And I think my biggest question mark about Vancouver is Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes is listed out of this game. I do think it allows St. Louis to be able to fire that puck. This is a team that's only averaging 25.5 shots on goal, but Vancouver is giving up that 29.5, and that was with Quinn Hughes in the majority of these games. I think we see the St. Louis Blues get back in the win column and dominate this matchup. I'm looking for them to not only win, but win this by multiple goals. And that's where you have to take them, because you look at the money line for the St. Louis Blues at minus 160 is just out of range. Now, they were a minus 140, minus 145 favorite. So money is coming in on them. We have missed the best of those opening numbers. Robert Thomas is still out of the lineup, and Jake Neighbors as well. So we do have playmakers out, but I would look at Jordan Kyrou to step up. He does lead this team with 8 points, including 4 goals in 10 games, and he's on an 8-point game streak. So he has been nice and strong out there. He's so fast. When he gets the puck, he's able to get past those defenders and move nicely up the neutral zone into the opponent's zone and fire. So I'm going to look at Jordan Kyrou to come out, get 2+ points in this matchup. I think there's going to be a lack of defense for the Vancouver Canucks. They're already allowing 3 goals per game and 29.6 shots on goal. Their kill is an elite at 74.4%, and the power play has converted just over 20% here for the St. Louis Blues. So give me the Blues to get a win in reg, and that's where I'll take it to bring down that number. The reg bet coming in at minus 104. Now, if you want to look at the St. Louis Blues minus 1.5, it's plus 158, and I don't hate it, you guys. I do think it would be a solid way to go. Now, you could look at the St. Louis Blues to get the win with Kyrou to get a point, parlay that together, or Kyrou to get the goal. So it's going to be an interesting, Kyrou for the point. You definitely want to go there. So let's move on to the next game. Oh, if you're looking at, there's just too many injuries, but Max Sasson has been able to get a goal in each of the Canucks' last 3 road games against the Western Conference. So I love to give you those trends for those players, you guys. I just wouldn't take it. So I'm always going to tell you what I'm going to take and what I'm not going to take out there. But let's move on to the next game. The next game on a deck is the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Minnesota Wild. And man, I tell you, some of these dogs are freaking barking today. The Pittsburgh Penguins, why? Why are they a plus 138 underdog versus a Minnesota Wild team that's been so inconsistent out there? The Wild don't deserve to be a minus 166 favorite. I expected this to be a straight pick 'em here, and the opportunity to grab the Pittsburgh Penguins at plus 138, sign me up all freaking day. We got a total of 6.5. That's 6.5 juice to the under. And I do think this is too low. I think you can even fire this one up. You got Tristan Jarry between the pipes here for the Pittsburgh Penguins, who does have a 2.62 goals against average and 916 save percentage. But on the other side, you got Gustafsson here for the Minnesota Wild, I do think the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to find a way to hit him. Now, the Penguins normally only average 25.6 shots on goal per game, but those high danger shots have been coming in. Their ability to convert on the power play is there, scoring on 28.6% of the power play opportunities. And wait for this. The Wild have the worst kill out there in the league at 62.5%. So why? Someone explain to me why we're getting such great money on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Is this the trap game of the day, you guys? Let me know if you think so. I'm looking at this line. I'm going, what the heck do the books have wrong today? The Pittsburgh Penguins, for me, win this all day long. The Wild have lost their last 4, and I know they're looking to get back in that win column, but they're coming off an overtime loss to the Winnipeg Jets, 4-3. The Pittsburgh Penguins are off a loss on Tuesday, 3-2, and a shootout loss to the Flyers, and I know they didn't look their best in that one. But I do think the Penguins, 5 goals in this, a 5-3 style win here for the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm signed up all day long. I look at this power play ability, the conversion, and I think the Wild will take those penalties with frustration. We've also seen the Pittsburgh Penguins roll into Minnesota as a dog, winning the last 4. Okay, so all the trends are pointing me there. We've also seen the Wild go 0-8 on the puck line as a favorite. So if the Wild go up, if you want to come back in on the Pittsburgh Penguins, plus the 1.5, it's going to be a tight game. Now it's Crosby, Malkin, Carlson. Those are your playmakers out there for the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm not even going to take anyone for the Wild. I just can't go there. I think 5-3, 5-4 win here for the Pittsburgh Penguins. I know the Wild have home ice advantage, but not buying it. Pens money line for sure. I am too. Kev, what are we missing in this one? This one just seemed too easy. I thought the books had this line completely backwards. Let me know if you guys feel the same. Yeah, you like the Penguins as well, but the Wild do play well at home. They do play well at home. But this season, they're 1-2-2 at home. Those numbers just aren't standing up for them. Mantha for the anytime goal, a power play goal, a power play point. Johansson for the anytime goal, and Rossi anytime assist. Yeah, I like where you're going. When you're looking at Johansson, he scored at least 1 goal in each of the Wild's last 3 games. So he has been nice and hot out there. You guys, I love that you're dropping all of these plays in the chat. You guys definitely don't want to miss out on these plays in the chat. You guys have been cashing. Cooley has played and has 1 play, and the Sens at home. Yeah, the Sens should be able to get it done. So Boston moneyline passing, geeky anytime goals. You're going with Matt Boldy of the Wild for the anytime goal. I don't blame you. Matt Boldy and Kaprizov, that's who's going to score if anyone's scoring for that team. Okay, it's time to move on to the next game. You guys don't mind me while I bookmark here. We're going to look at the New York Rangers taking on the Edmonton Oilers. I do think the New York Rangers are in trouble tonight. They're plus 130 underdogs, and there's no way. Now, I've talked about the Edmonton Oilers. They really stepped up in that last game versus Utah. I didn't think they were going to be able to close that one out, and they got the win. They're a minus 156 favorite over the Rangers. Why aren't they a bigger favorite here? Why aren't they a $2 favorite? This Rangers team is absolutely struggling. Now, I know they're coming off a win, but I can't help but think they're going to lose this by 2, 3, 4 goals here as Edmonton gets that offensive firepower going. Now, we know Skinner's still a weak spot here for the Edmonton Oilers. This total sitting at 5.5, minus 132 to the over. I'm going to take the Edmonton Oilers. I'm going to lay the puck line laying 1.5 at plus 152. I do think you can look at the first period puck line laying a half a goal as well. They have the Blackhawks on Saturday before a road trip. With the Blackhawks on Saturday before heading out on the road, I do think the upset win by a dog could be the Chicago Blackhawks on Saturday. I wouldn't think the New York Rangers can come in here to Rogers Place and get the upset in this one. Igor Shesterkin between the pipes here for the Rangers versus Stuart Skinner for the Edmonton Oilers. Now, we are seeing the Rangers. It was a 2-0 win over Vancouver, but we have seen Edmonton cover the puck line in the last 4 versus the Rangers. Now, one player you got to be careful of is Mika Zibanejad here for the Rangers. He's been able to score at least 1 goal in 3 of the last 5 road games for the Rangers versus the Oilers. So Mika Zibanejad will step up in this game tonight. If someone's scoring for the Rangers, I do think it's Mika, but I would look at Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl just come out with a bang in this. We got so many playmakers for the Edmonton Oilers, and I know we can't trust Skinner, but I tell you, against this Rangers team, they beat up Vancouver Canucks team. That's what I'm trying to say. I was trying to say beat too many times. They destroyed 2-0 the Vancouver Canucks. So what? Right? They controlled that whole game. So what? That doesn't impress me. Vancouver is a mess right now with injuries. First period puck line. I hear you on that. The Oilers are going to play because they have been a bit underwhelming. Yeah, they have been underwhelming here, but I do think this is a nice game for them to show up big versus the New York Rangers at home before they welcome in Chicago, which I do think they'll take a loss before heading out on the road. Next, we do have the New Jersey Devils. The New Jersey Devils are taking on the San Jose Sharks. You guys, let me know who you can trust in this one. Jacob Markstrom in his return in that last game didn't look pretty between the pipes, but will he have a step up here? I do think this is a back and forth battle. You look at the San Jose Sharks and they're plus 188 on the money line. I'd love to take them for the straight up upset win here at home. You know, I love to throw my money away with the Sharks, but I can't do it in this one. Minus 122 for the Devils. Too pricey on the money line, and the puck line laying 1.5 at plus 108. But the Sharks plus 1.5 is minus 132. Total sitting at 6.5 with that 6.5 juice to the over. I'm going to look here at a couple things. Jacob Markstrom didn't look strong in the last game, so I do think we can see the San Jose Sharks stepping up, pushing the pace here, which we know the Devils love to play at that fast pace. I'm going to look at this one first to go over the total 6.5. I like both teams to score in the first period. I do think this is a 2-1 first period. I'd look at the over 2.5 goals, not the over 1.5, because the over 1.5 is like $2. The over 2.5 goals, get that plus money. I then think you can look at the Devils team total. Over 3.5 goals. I expect 4-5 goals out of them. Nedeljkovic in between the pipes here for the San Jose Sharks. The Sharks coming off a good game versus the Kings. They pushed the Kings into their game, speeding up that pace. We were able to get that game to go over the total as the Sharks did push the Kings in a 4-3 loss. But the New Jersey Devils coming off that loss to the Avs, I know they're going to want to lock down defensively. They scored 4 goals. They allowed 8 out of the Avs, but I don't think Markey has what it takes to go against the Sharks team. Now, one player to look at, Tyler Toffoli and Jacob Markstrom used to play together in Calgary. I love looking at that. I do think Tyler Toffoli lights the lamp on Jacob Markstrom tonight, but you know, the playmakers over here, Macklin Celebrini has been absolutely brilliant out here for the Sharks. I'm looking for that to continue. On the other side, you got to look at Jack Hughes to come out nice and strong here for the New Jersey Devils. This should be a good one. The goals are freaking coming. They're raining in today. Celebrini 2+ points over all day long. You're going to take the 2+ points for Panarin. I do like Panarin out there for the Rangers for the 2+ points. Skinner is 4-1 against the Rangers with a 1.80 goals against average. Yeah. Fire up those numbers on the Edmonton Oilers today. You got to have that trust in Stuart Skinner today. I would look at him. Oh, man. We're going to take it safe shots on goal. You know we're going to get there. I'm going to do a cup of Joe with a couple of different additional things that I'm liking, but it's going to be Skinner's safe shots on goal today. I do think Skinner stands on his head and Edmonton wins this. They could even get the shutout 4-0 win here with Skinner having those solid numbers. Irish King, thank you so much for pointing those numbers out for Stuart Skinner. Again, you guys, if you didn't see that, Skinner 4-1 versus the Rangers with a 1.80 goals against average. Let's take Skinner over. Oh, God. Don't trust Skinner at all. I know. It's hard to trust Skinner, right? It really is. Let's do it. I'm feeling crazy today. You guys feeling crazy? It's a good day to go a little crazy, isn't it? The Sharks have lost their last 10 at home, getting back to that game. And Dawson Mercer scored at least 1 goal in each of the Devils' last 3 games as a road favorite. That is your trend for that game. And then, last but not least, the last game on deck. We're flying, you guys. These bookmarks are coming The last game on deck, we're going to look at Detroit versus the LA Kings. The Detroit Red Wings are a plus 122 underdog on the road, minus 146 for the LA Kings, total of 5.5, minus 130 to the over. We saw the Sharks play the Kings tight in that last game, and I do think the Red Wings have every ability of pulling off the upset. Cam Talbot versus Darcy Kemper. I do think, though, you look at get in and out. I love the Kings first period money line, and this is another game just like the Winnipeg Jets, where I think the road dog is barking. I'm not getting the value I want. I want to come live bet it after. I'm going to go into this one looking at the Kings first period puck line laying a half a goal as soon as the Kings score in this game, because I don't want to miss out on a better number, plus 1.5 on that puck line. I will at that point bet the Detroit Red Wings and then hope they don't tie it up in that first period. I think this game has every ability for the Red Wings to get that upset. If I'm getting like a $2 price for the Red Wings on the money line, I'll sprinkle. You guys, the same with the Chicago Blackhawks versus the Winnipeg Jets. I do think those sprinkles are worth it when we're looking at those two dogs today for the straight up win after the favorite takes the lead in that first period. So that is where I'm going to go with this game. Give me the Kings going in the first period, laying a half a goal on that puck line. You're going to get great plus money. Now, we've also seen Detroit. The trend here is Detroit loses that first period. They've lost the last 5 periods in LA. So we got a strong trend behind that. Now, we have seen Corey Perry really step up when the LA Kings have been the favorite. He's been able to score him for the last 5 games when the LA Kings have been the favorite. But I think this is going to be a solid game for the Red Wings at the end of the day. Yeah, you got to be a little crazy to trust Skinner, but I think the best of us are crazy. Don't you guys remember that Alice in Wonderland quote about you're completely bonkers, but the best people are? And I truly do think best people are a little bonkers. So he might fold. Yeah, he might fold. That is for sure. Trusting Stuart Skinner is something that I hardly ever do, but I do think this is a good one for him. If Skinner does well tonight, good on him, but I wouldn't trust him. I don't blame you. We've got this parlay coming in, you guys. It's plus 419. Dylan Larkin and Raymond for a point. Kadri of the Calgary Flames for a point. And Tage Thompson for a point there. Nicely done. I like where you're going with that, you guys. Again, Larkin, Raymond for a point. Kadri and Tage Thompson for the point at 419. Nice price. Best of luck. You've been cashing each and every single day with those bets. We are at the 42-30 mark. We're going to get into the recap, you guys. Woo, we flew through these games today. Thank you guys so much for everyone who joins me live for these. For everyone just showing up for the recap, I don't blame you. It's a long show. If you don't want all the information, just get these recap of bets. So the bookmarks will be up as of today. I'm going to grab my pen every time we do this show. Write down those times. Those bookmarks will be up so you can go back to the game that you want to check out. Let's get into this recap here. Firstly, the Nashville Predators versus the Philadelphia Flyers. Give me the Preds team total over 3.5 or over 2.5 in this. It's coming in at minus 128. Give me Jonathan Marchessault to be able to get a goal. I do think it starts off slow. I would look at the first period under 1.5. It's coming in at minus 104. The Dallas Stars versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. This line confuses the heck out of me. Give me the Stars. They're barking at plus 125. They're the better team. I don't understand why the love is coming in for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Give me Mikko Rantanen and Wyatt Johnston for their points day. They can convert on this power play. Deadly power play out here, 31.4% and strong face-off ability. I don't trust the Lightning, but if you want to look at a player, Cirelli is your trend bet here for the Tampa Bay Lightning, scoring at least 1 goal in 4 of the Lightning's last 5 versus the Stars. The Calgary Flames versus the Ottawa Senators. Calgary, I don't trust to keep the puck out of the back of the net. Backup goaltender. Give me the Sens team total over 3.5 at plus 100. Expecting them to win in a 4-2 style game. Now, Blake Coleman is your trend bet here for the Calgary Flames. He scored at least 1 goal in 3 of the last 4 for the Flames versus the Senators. When we look at the Buffalo Sabres versus the Boston Bruins, give me this game to get off to a hot start. First period, over 1.5 goals at -144. The game to go over 6.5 goals at -104. I do think the Sabres team total is the best bet of this game. Over 3.5 goals for the Buffalo Sabres at +118. Give me Jason Zucker for a goal. He's scored in each of the Sabres' last two versus the Bruins. Tags Thompson for the points. On the other side, I'd look at Pasta and Geeky. The New York Islanders versus the Carolina Hurricanes battle the Metro. Give me the defenses to step up. Under 6.5 at -120. If you're looking for a player prop trend, Anders Lee scored a goal in each of the Islanders' last two against the Carolina Hurricanes. The Chicago Blackhawks versus the Winnipeg Jets. Get in and get the heck out. The Winnipeg Jets first period puck line laying half a goal at +116. As soon as they go up by a goal, I will come back in on the Chicago Blackhawks. Sprinkle money line, but +2.5 on the puck line. This is a team that's dominated on that puck line this season. They're yet in their last 7 to not cover the puck line on the road. They've gone 9-1 on the puck line this season. Nyquist here for the Winnipeg Jets, I do think has every opportunity of getting a goal. He's had a goal in 4 of the last 5 home games versus Chicago. The Vancouver Canucks versus the St. Louis Blues. I'm looking for the Blues to get the win here in regulation, coming in at -104. Let's get back in the winning column here for the Blues. Give me Jordan Kyrou for 2+ points tonight. He's going to have to step up big. Robert Thomas and Jake Neighbors out of the lineup. We will see Quinn Hughes out of the lineup for Vancouver. I do think their defense collapses, and Jordan Kyrou has a big, big game. The Pittsburgh Penguins and the Minnesota Wild. Shaking my head again. Why are the Penguins the underdog in this one? Give me the Penguins with that great plus money. I'll even reverse puck line the Pittsburgh Penguins today. Laying 1.5 goals. I don't trust the Minnesota Wild, even though they're here at home. I think 5-3 style win for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Look at Sidney Crosby, Malkin, and Carlson for your points. And I'm going to stay off the Wild. The New York Rangers and the Edmonton Oilers. Let's have faith in Stuart Skinner. Probably one of the only times. You'll be able to count on my hand how many times you hear me say that this year. Edmonton puck line laying the 1.5 here over the New York Rangers. If you want someone for the New York Rangers, I would look at Mika Zibanejad to be able to score. He's been strong playing on the road in Rogers Place here versus the Oilers. He's got 1 goal in 3 of the Rangers' last 5. 3 of the last 5. He's been able to score in Rogers Place. So look at Edmonton, though, to cover that puck line. Look at Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl to come out nice and solid, and Nuge. I look at Nugent Hopkins Jr., Ryan Nugent Hopkins as well, to come out big. The New Jersey Devils and the San Jose Sharks. Give me the over 6.5. Give me both teams to score in the first period. I would take the over 2.5 goals in the first period as well. And the Devils team total over 3.5. I do think this is a 4-3 style win here for the New Jersey Devils. I think the Sharks can push them in this game. The Detroit Red Wings. Oh, and then we're going to take Tyler Toffoli for the anytime goal on his old goaltender when they both played in Calgary, and Macklin Celebrini for 2+ points. Jack Hughes for 2+ points. The Detroit Red Wings and the LA Kings. Give me the Kings on the puck line, in and out. The Red Wings are barking as well. Kings puck line first period laying 0.5 goal. Then I'm going to come back in on the Red Wings for a sprinkle on that money line, as well as +1.5 on the puck line for a better value. They have lost the last 5 first periods in LA. So those trends are there. You goal in the first 10. Vegas Vixen, I told you I would get that. The goal in the first 10 keeps staying alive. Boston's defense allows those goals to come in. Yeah, DeBrincat has every opportunity of getting a point here for the Red Wings. I do think it is another 4-3 style game between those two, as the Red Wings can do what the Sharks do and push the LA Kings into more offensive battle out there. It doesn't matter. You love storylines. Yeah, nice quick one. We got to go over those quick for sure. But you guys, if I talk too quick, just slow it down in YouTube. Trying to make this show faster and faster every day. Jason Zucker for the goal. Jordan and Wyatt for 2+ points. I love it. I love where you're going. Your other parlay coming in, it's both teams to score 2 goals. Sabres and Bruins. I like it. Both teams to score 2 goals. Islanders and Canes. It's going to be a hard one. That is a battle of the Metro, but you possibly could see that happening. And then both teams to score with the Devils and the Sharks 2 goals. I love it. I love it. You guys, let's make some freaking money out there on the ice. Whatever you're liking, let me know below this video. Drop those parlays. Let's hear what you've got. And oh my God, let's freaking go Blue Jays. Did you guys tail my cup of Joe yesterday? Yeah, Savage coming out so freaking strong. We talked about it yesterday on the show. We fired him over the 4.5 strikeouts. My God, this kid was electric out there versus the Dodgers lineup last night. I can't believe what we've seen out of him. Now, are we going to see him back? No. We took him up to 6Ks. What did he get? 11, 12? I stopped counting at 10. It was mind-blowing what Savage was able to do out there on the Diamonds last night. So, whew, yeah, it was plus money firing him up. Now, Blake Snell did better than I expected. He stayed out longer. He went over his strikeout spot. We did clean up with Savage. We also cleaned up with the Toronto Blue Jays. So I hope you guys, 12 Ks. Yeah, 12. I couldn't remember what it was. Oh, yeah, the long shot point parlay. You guys asked for it. Mo asked for it at the start of the show. Let's build this long shot parlay, you guys. The long shot parlay at the 50-25 mark. Yeah, he is. He's an absolute freaking savage out there. 22 years old, you guys. That poise, seeing him go up against Ohtani, my God, it's mesmerizing what he's able to do out there. Okay, let's look at the Devils and the Sharks because I really like this game for some goals in this one. We'll start off with the Devils and the Sharks for those points. I'm just clearing a couple of things out on my books. It is Monday Night Football. Head on over to, or Thursday Night Football. It's Thursday night, not Monday night. Get your days right, Joe. Every day is kind of confusing for me. Thursday Night Football. Head on over to Betting Pros for my best bet out there. I fired up a number. You're going to get great plus money. Again, Betting Pros, you'll get that bet. Okay. We will look at Macklin Celebrini for a point. He's coming out strong. Going to look at Tyler Toffoli for a point as well. That is for the Sharks. I will look at Jack Hughes is too highly juiced. Timo Meyer. Let's look at Dawson Mercer. He has been strong versus teams as of late. So we will throw that. Between the Devils and the Sharks, it's Macklin Celebrini, Tyler Toffoli, and Dawson Mercer, all for a point. Let's look at Edmonton. Let's see if we can get any value for Nuge here. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins coming in. Yeah, we can get Ryan Nugent-Hopkins right around that minus 194. I would look at Mika, but I do think Skinner is in for a big night. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say that today. So we're going to leave all props off. But if you do want someone for the Rangers, I'd throw in Mika. Stuart Skinner has a prop of 21.5. I'll take him to the over 21.5. We're going to see enough shots out of the Rangers that he does go over that number. Vancouver and the St. Louis Blues. We're going to look at Jordan Kyrou here for the points. You know we got to do it. Jordan Kyrou is a minus 160 for a point, and I think he gets there. You could look at Holloway as well, but I would just look at Jordan Kyrou. We're just going to do a couple handpick, cherry pick some players here. Looking at the Pittsburgh Penguins, Sidney Crosby, Malkin. Malkin has good value at minus 162. I'm going to throw him in. I'm going to leave everyone off for the Wild. I'm going to stay off Chicago and Winnipeg. That game, I don't know. I tell you, something's weird about it. The Buffalo Sabres and the Boston Bruins. Let's look here at some props in this one. I do think Tage Thompson gets a point, and I do think Pasta gets a point. The problem with Pasta, it's almost a $4 price tag. Morgan Geekie, though, minus 115. Sign me up. Morgan Geekie to come out nice and strong. The Flyers and the Preds, I don't want to touch for this. I will look at the Ottawa Senators, though, and the Calgary Flames. Looking at the Ottawa Senators, you've got Batherson at minus 205. You got Kadri at minus 172. Tim Struzel. Let's go with Jake Sanderson. I like Jake Sanderson to come out nice and strong. Going to stay off Calgary. Don't trust them enough. And then Tampa and Dallas. You know we got to put Dallas props in there. Dallas is barking today. Mikko Rantanen for a point. And Wyatt Johnson, what the heck? Let's go. We got 11 legger, you guys. 11 leg parlay. Okay. 11 legs, $10 pays you back 1,434. So it's plus 14,345. Let me just make sure those are all player props. Heck yeah. Okay, you guys ready? You got your pens ready? I see your long shots coming in. This is a long shot parlay, you guys. Mikko Rantanen for a point of the Dallas Stars. Wyatt Johnson for a point of the Dallas Stars. Wyatt Johnson, Mikko Rantanen for the Dallas Stars. Tage Thompson for the Buffalo Sabres. Morgan Geekie for the Boston Bruins. Macklin Celebrini for the San Jose Sharks. Tyler Toffoli for the San Jose Sharks. Dawson Mercer for the New Jersey Devils. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins for the Edmonton Oilers. Jordan Kyrou for the St. Louis Blues. Malkin for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Jake Sanderson for the Ottawa Senators. And something has changed in that one. What did they just change on us? Someone got frozen out of there. Okay, so they are freezing up all of the bets right now for the Sharks and Devils game. Not sure what's happening there, but I will repeat the 11-legger again. It's Mikko Rantanen for the Dallas Stars and Wyatt Johnson for the Dallas Stars for a point. Tage Thompson for the Buffalo Sabres and Morgan Geekie for the Boston Bruins for a point. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins from the Edmonton Oilers for a point. Jordan Kyrou from the St. Louis Blues for a point. Malkin from the Pittsburgh Penguins for a point. Jake Sanderson for the Ottawa Senators for a point. Macklin Celebrini, if they ever allow us to put it back in the parlay, for the Sharks for a point. Tyler Toffoli for the Sharks for a point. And Dawson Mercer for the Devils for a point. So $10 now, because they took those 3 legs out, returns $376. But once you add those 3 legs back for the Sharks and the Devils game, it's coming in at plus like 1,400. So you guys, it is a long shot of long shots. That is for sure. You are so welcome. And I can't believe Morgan Geekie was only minus 122. It seems like an absolute gift. Which book allows it? You can look at Bet365 Sports Interaction. You can look at FanDuel. There's a ton of books out there that do allow those player prop parlays. So just shop those lines. DraftKings does as well. Your parlay is Coleman for a point. Yeah, Blake Coleman of the Calgary Flames. Jordan Kyrou for a point. Nugent-Hopkins for the point. DeBrincat for the point. And Lucas Raymond for the point. Kadri for the point. Let's frickin' go. You guys, let's make some money today. All the best in all your bets. Thanks for hanging out for the last hour. We'll see you tomorrow. Light slate tomorrow, but day game, so we got to go off at the right time. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, stay hot. Let's make some frickin' money. Bye, you guys.